welcome to Manuscripts of the Muslim World. And today we're going to talk about the influence of Islam on food and the African American culture. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. My name is Jamela Bilal, and I'm the owner of a company called Halal to Go. And we are the first and only halal meal prep company in the United States. We ship nationwide. Our focus is mostly to, of course, offer authentic halal food, but to have meals accessible to people and that come from a background where you know where your food comes from and the road it travels before it got to your plate. So not only do we have halal and organic meats, all of our vegetables are also organic or locally sourced. So let's talk a little bit about the Muslim cuisine, which is it's a simple one in a sense. It just has to, the meat should come from the proper source, which is a halal source, and that means that the animal was treated properly, under good conditions, no hormones or antibiotics was used. It was slaughtered in a humane way, and Muslims also do not eat pork and they do not drink alcohol. So that's pretty much the general essence of it. In general, in reference to cuisine, you can have any kind of cuisine you like, as long as it kind of fits into those parameters for the most part. I will say that one universal food that every Muslim knows about, whether they like it or not, every Muslim knows about the date. And we'll talk a little bit about some entrees, and great entrees that you can make with the date fruit. But of course that has great benefits for fiber. It kind of originated in the Middle East, but it's really taken form now in the West because of all of its great health benefits. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you an idea, since we're really talking about indigenous Muslims. So we can't talk about indigenous Muslims or African American Muslims and their experience without at least mentioning how we got here through slavery. And that's so important because that's how rice, the grain of rice, came here. And that's one of the prominent things that is an African American cuisine, and that's also something that we brought here to America, rice itself. Also true to that cuisine coming over was beans. This particular bean here is a black-eyed pea bean. Also you have different type of potatoes, but specifically the sweet potato, hot peppers, and lots of different types of leafy greens. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an entree that includes those friendly things that we love about African American and so famous in African American cuisine, like your traditional fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens. But we're going to put a little bit of a healthy twist on it, and that will be my twist as a chef, a little healthy twist on it. So we're going to make a pan-fried cooked chicken breast with a side of rice, with mixed greens and mixed veggies. The veggies in there will be some of that fresh kale, some carrots, and some peppers. And we're also serving it with a side of just fresh steamed seasoned kale. Okay, so, and if we get a chance, I also want to show you how to make a date Snickers, which is a very healthy alternative to a Snickers bar. So we'll get started here. I'm going to put my gloves on because gloves is just my friend in the kitchen. I don't like to be touching and having to wash my hands every 5 minutes, especially also since we're going to be working with raw meat. And as I talk, I'll tell you some other ways that I'm including health and nutrition into your otherwise traditional way of frying chicken. And one of the ways is the breading. Now, a lot of times you use just a regular flour. We have a breading here. It's a breadcrumb breading, but it also has oatmeal and flaxseed in it. So those are some different ways simple ways you can bring nutrition into something that is still a very delicious dish and take some of the fat out also. Now for our sticking agent, so that the breading, the dry breading sticks to the chicken breast, we're going to use just an egg batter here, simple egg batter. Now I already mixed it up, but you can also just always take 1 or 2 eggs, scramble them together before, and then lay them here. I have 3 pans here, and we're going to make 3 sections. And this is for when our chicken comes out of the pan. So I'm just going to rinse my hands really fast here. The other thing we're going to use that brings a healthy component into play is we're going to use a grapeseed oil. Now you can use canola oil if it's fine. You want to, when you're frying, whether you're deep frying or pan frying, you want to use an oil that holds heat. Olive oil, for instance, is not an oil that holds heat. That will burn faster than you would like it to. Grapeseed oil is a very healthy oil. So too is avocado oil. They are good in vitamins A and B, antioxidants, and it's a monosaturated fat, not a saturated fat. So much different than your canola or your vegetable oil. And the greatest thing is that it still stays at a high heat, so you can do things like fried chicken in it just fine. It has a mild flavor. Okay, so we're going to turn our fire on here, and we're going to get the oil in here. And I would say you will put about an inch or so of oil, okay, because you're going to pan fry, means it's going to fry on each side. All right, that's your side. I also have something else, another component that you can use to sneak some things in, and that's basically in what I call my house seasoning. And that's our chefs. We all have our house seasoning. What is house seasoning? It's just your seasoning blend, or the seasoning blend that's traditional to the restaurant or place that you're working out of. So my seasoning blend is just a regular kosher salt or sea salt, cracked pepper, and I put a little bit of flaxseed in my house seasoning also. So we have our chicken breast that we have already filleted and pounded out, okay? And we are going to first put that inside of, it's already seasoned also too. You want to season as you go in cooking. You want to have layers of seasoning, okay? So you definitely don't want it to be that your seasoning is only in your breading, and when you get to that meat, it really has no flavor. Although this is a thin piece of meat, but you still want it to have a lot of flavor. So we want to coat the chicken nicely. If you want to do a double breading, that's up to you, depending on how thick you want your breading to be. If you're really trying to have that feeling of some crunchy fried chicken, you might want to double bread it. It's up to you. So we're going to bread it on both sides, and basically we're just pushing that chicken breast down into that breadcrumb and oatmeal mixture. And we can see, I see some smoke coming from my pan here, so we are ready to go. I'm going to turn the flame down just slightly so we get a nice brown color when we're cooking. And then we're going to lay the chicken in away from me. So if it does splash in oil, it'll splash towards the stove and not towards me. Lay that down like that. Turn that down some more. Okay. Okay, and we'll just move these to the side, and now I have a tray ready when it is ready to come out with some towel paper on it to soak up some of that excess oil. This will fry up really fast too. You see, as soon as the sides of your chicken starts to brown, you can go ahead and flip it just like that. You get a nice brown color there. Move that over, and I'm going to, since I turned the fire down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and bread this second one real quick here. Same thing, wet batter first, then dry. And it's frying up really fast. For one, it doesn't have a bone in it, and for two, it's been pounded out. It's very thin, and it's a white meat. Dark meat takes longer to cook too, so that's another thing. Dark meat is also a little higher in fat content. Okay. All right. So this first one, we can take that out. Turn it up the fire a little bit more here. Just give it a couple more minutes. Okay? And while that's finishing cooking, we can talk a little bit about the kale. Put that in real quickly. So we have some fresh kale here, which is definitely something that's true to the African regions. All right, and that cooks up very fast. That's why I'm choosing to use it. You will see in most African American cuisine if we're choosing a green, it's definitely very popular collard greens. But you will not saute a collard green in about 1-2 minutes. So we're going to do kale. And kale is definitely has become much more popular. It too is has a lot of nutritious value, and considered to be one of those superfoods also. We'll just jump back over here real quick and get that first cutlet out. Let's put that on our towel paper, and then we'll flip over the other one. Give that a chance to finish. All right. And then I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. Alright, that's going to be for my kale. Take my knife here, and we'll just roughly chop this kale, because when I say it's going to cook fast, it's going to cook fast. We're going to keep some of that beautiful green color. We just want to get it down so that it's palatable to eat. So we're cutting it down just a little bit there. Okay. And when it gets down, not now, when it wilts a little down, then I'll put a little bit of house seasoning in there. And we're going to take our other cutlet out. And then I want to show you something really cool that we're going to do with the date before we plate everything up. Okay. So we got both of our cutlets done. And now we're working on our kale. So while the kale is finishing for a second there, I'll tell you that date is a fruit, and it is so high in fiber. It also has low glycemic, so it helps for people who have diabetes to help balance out your blood sugar. So I have this cool little Snickers treat that I'm going to make with it. Clean up my board a little bit here. Okay, so most dates, this is a medjool date. They have a little pit in the middle, so you open that up like that. You take it out. Okay. Before I do that, I'm just going to check on my kale. Okay, and that kale is that beautiful green color that we're looking for. So we're going to turn the fire out there. And we will also drain that a bit too. Just to get some of that excess water off. And we'll come back and plate these things in just 1 minute. Right. Outstanding. So back to the date. Only a couple ingredients. Think about 3 ingredients. First, you want to have some chocolate. You want to have a hardening chocolate. If you don't buy a chocolate that already is hardened, you can buy your regular chocolate chips. You want to mix it with coconut oil. That's the key ingredient, because coconut oil, it stays as a solid when it's sitting in room temperature, but as soon as you add heat to it, it liquefies. So you want to bring that same component to your chocolate. So that's why you mix it with some coconut oil, bring it to a smooth consistency, like you're able to pour it, and then as soon as you pour it, whatever you pour it on, it will harden back up because of that coconut oil. And that's what's going to make it like a little Snickers bar. So we're going to take some peanuts, which is another thing that's primarily in the African American community, a lot of Africans use too. So just nuts in general. And also it's healthy. So the more reason why I'm doing this right now is because I'm trying to give some health and also great taste and texture to this little mock Snickers. So we're going to first we'll put some peanut butter. You can put peanuts in the middle. You can also put some peanut butter. I have my peanut butter out. I have it right here. Regular peanut butter. And this is another opportunity. to impose on a healthier nut if you like. You can also use an almond butter. You can use a cashew butter, whatever you choose. You can also use a sun butter if you're not eating any nuts or you have a nut allergy. So you see, we're just going to put that in there like that, right? We filled it up. Okay. That's to the side. Peanut butter down here. And then we're going to take our chocolate that has already been liquefied a little bit. And we're going to put it on our parchment paper. Cool. So we'll take the toothpick. I'm going to show you this little trick so you don't have to make it all messy. So we got a little toothpick here, right? You will take this out at the end, but this is, you're just using this to make it easier for you. All right. Make sure everybody can see everything clearly. So we're going to take this date, and remember, just to recap, we put nuts inside, peanut, and the peanut butter, making a mock Snickers. We're going to dip that in our chocolate. Yeah, swirl it all around. Make sure it's covered. And then we'll bring it out and sit it on our parchment paper. And what we can do right now, so everybody can see that, while it's still wet, we can add some more nuts, however you like. Now look at that. And once it dries, it looks like this. Okay, so now that's pretty much it for the entree I want to show you. So now we have one plated here. That will be our kale, our rice, and our cutlet. And one more thing, if you like, you can have hot sauce with your cutlet, which is definitely a prominent thing used in the African American community. Don't you dare come to an event with some fried fish or even some fried chicken without some hot sauce, okay? Don't do it. And that's not by chance. That's because of our palates. That's coming from a long history of our ancestors. We brought those hot peppers over here, you know, especially when the Caribbean and everything was a part of the transatlantic movement too. That's where a lot of the peppers came from. So I'm having trouble opening my hot sauce, but you kind of get the idea. You can have it with hot sauce. You can have it with some gravy if you feel like you want to have that more of that fat component that you're looking for with in fried chicken. You can have it with a little bit of nice luxurious gravy, but you still kept it much more different, much more on the healthier side because of just the way you prepared the meat. And we're going to have many more opportunities like this to see different cuisines that Muslims eat all over the world from a halal perspective, as the program Manuscripts of the Muslim World travels to the local libraries all across the Philadelphia area. So, thank you so much.